what do we gain? Maybe a life cycle management perspective we are gaining, but we are losing on technology because technology is changing every 2 to 3 years and maybe faster in certain areas. Apple doesn't replace a battery of their iPhone. You use a phone, battery dead, phone dead. Because by that time, two more series would have come. You want to work on a 3 age old generation equipment and software and application, then only you need that thing. But the time it is live, that is a time I want it 99.10 nines, 5 nines, 3 nines. And that's where this is important. So is important how do we plan your supply chain for spares, for maintenance, and for other things. That's where this has worked client significantly and brought up their speed of completion by 15%. Because breakdowns are lesser, and so is a cost saving. Idling is avoided, idling of manpower, idling of other associated machines, because construction doesn't use single machine in an overall process. So idling has come down. Overall cycle time to produce or say to construct the same building or a same campus has come down. Second is on the large retailer, which is on energy management side. Connecting all energy consuming devices, right from air conditioning to IT equipment to non-IT equipment, take a real-time data, come up with plans how things can be optimized on that, monitor and control these devices centrally. The way we are moving, the way energy criticality is increasing, this is going to be increased requirement. Second area which I'll focus a little more is on smart cities. Sorry. Smart city, if we look at $526 billion to $1.5 trillion is the expected revenue at a CAGR of 14% by 2020. And if we look at smart component in that, 10 to 20% will go to construction and building side, and balance is automation as well as IoT related, including ITPs. IT is going to become an enabler in many of those IoT and automation initiatives. If we see a path to digital, there is a base in terms of infrastructure or enablers, whether it is on network side or it is on data center and IBMS side, or it is on data capture, surveillance infrastructure, and other the sensor side. There is a data and technology side, which includes warehousing, business intelligence, connected cities, P2P, P2C, M2M, P2M, all various interfaces. There is a huge chunk of application play on city management side, on asset management and facility management side, on a core functions, health safety, e-education, smart grids, and so is the governance model going to change. E-governance is going to become a reality. Disaster management, while India is working on, there are a few initiatives which have moved. It will go a big way. And so is the overall city management side. and a customer experience portion. There are various solution stacks and initiatives which we are working on. In India, the way brownfield cities are placed, things will happen in bits and pieces. Getting a full-fledged smart city with all modules enabled is something which may happen only in greenfield ones, and brownfields will have a critical ones. Somebody may come up with only a waste management to start with. Somebody may come up only a Wi-Fi and surveillance to start with. Somebody may come up only a city management portal to start with. Bangalore One is one such initiative where one can go and pay all bills on a single portal, whether it is utilities, whether it is phone bill, or it is property tax, everything can be paid on a single portal. That's part of a smart city initiative. More and more such things are becoming reality in time to come. One of the case which we have implemented, and one of the India's first smart city with few modules already enabled, includes a connected infrastructure, a common voice video data connectivity, a smart home with home automation and security, and a smart community in terms of services and cost leverages. Thanks to all of you for the time. Any questions?
If you have any questions, we would request you to raise your hand and we will come to you with a microphone. We would request you to please introduce yourself before asking the question. So if there's any question in the audience, we have a question here.
Hi, very good morning. I am Golok here from External Affairs Ministry. Now, when we are talking about digital technology today, how much you feel as an enterprise or the enterprise sector or the private sector is actually mapping the technology away or their innovation or their explosion of technology when it actually comes to government side of it? Is there a thought process? Because we find, especially sitting within the government, when you talk about explosion of technology or big data or analytics, there are few examples, rather it's initiation. So how you map yourself when you think of a government side of it?
So I'll divide it in two parts. How enterprise and industry is reacting to a technology enablement and to service technology requirement of government and public sectors. That's being mapped 100%. How they are doing within their organizations, I understand, is the main question. Right, Golak?
No. I absolutely understand as far as private side of it or the industry side is it, they are moving at a pace. But when it's actually coming to mapping towards the business processes or towards the rules, regulations, acts, and then delivering towards the latest technology we are talking about today, is it really happening? And if no, where are the gaps and how do we address this gap?
So this is a continuous process. Enterprise and private sectors are working on technology enhancement and enablement within their organization also, and to map to various initiatives government is taking on the whole. Some of the processes they are lagging behind, some of the processes they are actually ahead. If we look at a smart campus concept, while smart city is becoming popular today or becoming a buzzword today, smart campus in many of the private enterprises in India is a reality, if not with 100% modules, maybe with 50%, 60%, 70% modules. Another problem with the private and enterprise segment is that things are less publicized. So while many initiatives are done in nooks and corners, they are not spoken so much. So as much as readiness, which is your main question, readiness and willingness is high, things are getting mapped, and there is a regular catch-up game which will continue.
Thank
We've got another question over there. So can you move with the mic over there?
My name is Sanjeeva Dubey. My question is, do you think that L1 culture is the barrier towards being a smarter India?
Can you repeat your question?
Do you think that the L1 culture, lowest standards, is a barrier towards becoming India smarter?
Yes and no, both. Because sometimes technology comes with a price, and it is difficult in a L1 scenario to define entry barriers to an extent that lower technology cannot come in that. So while there is a regular effort from various enablers of technology, that entry barriers are defined to a basic requirement clearly, where one can't be lower with a lower technology, but there are still issues on that. QCBS is one of the method to beat that, which is being adopted by some of the government and public sector organizations.
All right, I will take two more questions. So I've got one question here.
Morning. I am Bhairav from Airtel. And in your presentation, you spoke about IoT. IoT discussions have been going on for some time, but this year it seems like there's a lot of focus. Would like to understand how the industry sees the role of a telecom player, in this whole IoT business. What do they expect a telecom player to do, or what role can it play? Because in numerous engagements that we are into, we kind of see this as a very fragmented space. So we'd like to hear from you.
So if we look at the way industry requirements are, before that, IoT is not just today. IoT was there from last few years. It has become a buzzword now. So there are many automation projects which people had done, which were actually IoT enabled projects. Now coming back to your main point, that is on telecommunication play on that. IoT can be done effectively, especially in a distributed environment, only if telecom supports it. So it's not just an enabler, it's a necessity. So within campus, yes, people can do based on multiple local technologies, but that gives a limited benefit. Manufacturing, yes, to some extent will still do it, but most of the other segments are distributed. And that's where telecom plays a very, very critical role in IoT initiative overall. And that's where a requirement of further improvement. So while we have come a long way on telecommunication infrastructure in India, there's a requirement of a further improvement on that. More 3G and 4G become reality, more we will be able to use IoT effectively.
Right, we will take one last question here. Okay, it's gone there.
My name is Jagdev, and I'm from Pacific. I'm having very question which is pertaining to environment. We have been facing the challenge that you have mentioned in your presentation regarding the iPhone. The example was very nicely presented, because it is the fact that every 3 years we need to change our hardware, because if we need to be agile with or compete with the technology that is getting driven, we need to change our hardwares. Do we have any plan for proper management of e-waste which is getting generated, piled every year? That is one. Apart from that, how do you find the cost? Because when we talk about the cost of buying the new hardware to keep the pace going, how we are thinking how it is going to impact on the manufacturing of e-waste again?
So e-waste and environment hazards and e-waste management is a need of an hour. So one has to focus and figure out how do effective e-waste management happens. Today we are sitting at a problem to even collect a e-waste. Frankly speaking, we are not collecting e-waste and bringing it to one location. There are few initiatives people have done in nooks and corners, and which is not even 1%. 99% of e-waste is going in normal dustbin. So there is a really, really long way to go on e-waste management, right from collection to utilization. When we increase this collection and channelization of this e-waste, that's where the production cost benefit will come. Till that time, it's only in paper. I don't think any organization can expect sufficient inflow of e-waste to even take care of their 5% production requirement.
All right, since we are running out of time, we will take one last question, and then if you have any questions, you can take it offline. But sir, please go ahead.
Ashish, thank you for the wonderful insight. My name is Prateek, and I represent Samartham Trust for the Disabled here. Interesting to hear about number of initiatives Wipro has on smart cities. My question is, and the fundamental belief here is you do the thinking at the design time, right? Have you guys thought of disability as a feature when you're designing these solutions?
Can you repeat the second part?
Have you thought of inclusivity, disability as a thought process while you design these solution? Accessibility.
So, as a Wipro larger thought process, inclusivity is a key, and most of our initiatives are done keeping in mind that we have things which are inclusive in nature. And inclusive not only in terms of contribution by various people towards that initiatives, but also how various people can get benefited. So it's on both the sides, from a contribution side to a user side. Inclusivity is one of the key which we work on. So thanks everybody for your patient listening.
Thank you very much,
Thanks.
sir. But we would like to hand over a memento, a token of our appreciation. May I request Mr. Shrikant RP, editor DataQuest, to please step up and hand over a memento to Mr. Khare. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, a huge round of applause for Mr. Ashish Khare. Thank you very much, sir, for joining us today. Thank you. And with that, we were supposed to take a tea break, but unfortunately, this hotel has got a strange requirement. The hotel says that unless everybody has at least 20 different visiting cards, they will not serve us tea. Yeah, that's strange, yeah. So what we're going to do is we are going to facilitate that. We're going to help you to do that. In the next 5 minutes, what you've got to do is you've got to stand up, move around, meet as many people as possible, exchange cards, yeah? As quickly as possible, because the rest of it you can take it later. But right now, exchange cards, say hi, hello, exchange names, etc. And you should have a minimum of 20 cards, as I said. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, your time starts now. Please stand. We would request everybody to stand and move around and meet each other and exchange cards. As we've informed you earlier, we want to use this as a platform for you to interact with each other within the industry. A lot of information, a lot of knowledge within the industry. So use this time, use this opportunity for the same.